Hello! As many of you know, activism comes in many forms, and I was so lucky enough to meet with an activist from the Innocence Project, and her name is Carlita Salazar. And if you don't know already, the Innocence Project focuses on wrongfully convicted inmates and exoneration. And so this is my interview. Let's get into it. Hi, so nice to meet you. Thank you so much.
So nice to meet you. Thanks for reaching out.
Yeah, of course. So after a brief introduction, we got to know each other, and pardon my Zoom lag, I did not have the best of Wi-Fi access, but hopefully you enjoyed the interview nonetheless. You're Chief Deputy for Communications. What do you do in your day-to-day job?
So, as Deputy Chief Communications Officer for the Innocence Project, I create and oversee our annual budget. So I track our spending to make sure that all of the team members have the resources that they need to get their work done. And then I also have my own portfolio of work where I oversee special projects and strategic partnerships, right? So that could mean, for example, we had a series a couple of years ago that came out on Netflix. It's called The Innocence Files. And it spoke about different issues and contributing factors that lead to wrongful convictions and highlighted the cases of a number of our former clients. And so I was the production lead from the Innocence Project. Until they needed, I was there to make sure that they were able to talk to our attorneys, to experts, to our clients, coordinated, the shoots, and then also worked on the marketing campaign for that. And then for strategic partnerships, we work with a whole range of different groups and celebrities. So from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to Yvonne Orgy to the Moth. We build partnerships with high profile organizations and people. So there's so much work that falls under. It's a lot, but it's really fantastic. It's a privilege. And especially I think my favorite part of my job is really being able to work closely with our former clients. So people who were, formerly incarcerated due to wrongful conviction, and now they have been free. But just being able to work with them, getting to know them, helping them find opportunities where they're able to share their stories or speak to the world, to really share their truth, right, about what they experienced, and to talk about why it's important that we really transform the legal system. So working with our clients is such a privilege and definitely the best part of my job.
That's awesome. Do you have any moments that you can recall that really influenced you, especially in your role in speaking to these people?
Definitely, yeah. I remember I had just started at the Innocence Project. This is back in 2013. And I remember my boss telling me there's going to be an exoneration in New Jersey. One of our clients I think, the project had been working on his case for at least 7 or 8 years. He had been wrongfully convicted of murdering someone, and we were going to have the opportunity to go to the court to actually see the hearing. And my job was to arrange for a photographer to be there to really document this very important moment. Our client came out and he was wearing a prison uniform and chains, right, around his wrists and his ankle. So we had 2 attorneys who were working on his case, and the other attorney is one of our co-founders, Barry Sheck. I remember, him asking the judge for the court to take off the shackles from our clients', wrists and ankles, and they obliged, and they did that. And to me, that was a very powerful moment. And just seeing that entire proceeding, seeing our attorneys advocate on behalf of our client, speak to his innocence, speak to really what had gone wrong in the investigation, and what enables innocent people to get wrapped up. That was such a powerful moment for me, just as someone who comes from a family who has many people who are in the system, right, and who have not been justly treated by our very broken system. being in that courtroom at that moment for me just really underscored this is the place I need to be. Like, this is the organization that I want to be a part of. This is the work that I want to do. I can very clearly relive that at any time because it's that was compelling.
That's amazing. Wow. My next question is, as activism is modernizing, how do you think that maybe like social media has played a role in activism, and is it for the better, for the worse, or what do you think about that?
Oh, I think it's played a huge role. When I first started at the Innocence Project, we had pretty much like zero social media presence. And we want to make sure that we have like a really diverse range of supporters. So from young to old, right, in every demographic. And social media has definitely allowed us to do that. And I think it's like a really valuable tool that like activists can use across the world, right? To like spread the word around issues, to help people learn about solutions, to raise funds. Like, it's very, very important.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I guess I have one last question, and that is, earlier you mentioned that you have personal ties to this and that you have experience like with your family in the system. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. I mean, so I'm, from a family that has roots out west. Colorado is where I was raised. I come from a family of, even though not really immigrants, like very poor. I was only like the second person in my family, and I have a very big family, to go to college. My mom was the first person. And I think that there's been a lot that my family has struggled with in terms of addiction and poverty and just trying to find like pathways to getting by. I think a lot of those things have landed people in the system, like for things they did, and sometimes even for things they didn't do. Like, we have a number of people in our family, 2 people who were wrongfully convicted of crimes. But that like is just, that's part of my family's ongoing story and history, and I saw and still see, how it just has impacted everyone, how difficult it's been for us to kind of get out of that pattern, and we're still not, right? It's still something that we struggle with even now. But I learned that even though there's like a stigma that society tries to tie to people who are in the system, I've never felt any type of regret from being from my family or my background. Like, I'm very proud of my family, and I'm proud of like everything that we've been through. But it's definitely motivated me to really like take a close look at the system, right? And the various systems that are a part of our country and our society, to see that they're just completely inequitable, right? Like, they really have been built to work against poor people, people of color, women, like, and other marginalized groups, and so people like those in my family are going to continue, to be at a disadvantage as long as the structure is operating the way that it is. In terms of my work at the Innocence Project, it gives me an advantage. I mean, it's weird, but it gives me an advantage to this work. It adds being able to see like the strength that it can offer you, right? And to build on that, and to be able to like bring it into your educational pursuits, bring it into your professional suits, and to really like find a way to leverage that strength.
Wow, that is so amazing. I'm so happy that you did this interview with me, because I've learned so much, and I truly appreciate you taking the time to speak with me. I'm really grateful for this. Thank you so much. And I think that what you do is so amazing.